Hello everyone, welcome to Laexcellence IAS Academy. Recently, Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman abolished the Equalization Levy, which was earlier imposed on the digital transactions. But what is the Equalization Levy? The Equalization Levy is nothing but a tax imposed on the direct digital transactions in the country. But this tax is a direct tax, the first thing, and this tax imposed on the digital transactions happened between business to business transactions. So one of the businesses which offering digital services means this tax imposed on the digital services. Okay, so one company, for example Amazon, which is a non-Indian company operating in India and providing digital services to Indian businesses. So this Indian businesses means Indian company, in return to the digital services, paying some amount. So this amount is considered as income and this amount is charged. The tax means this tax is charged on the digital transactions is called as Equalization Levy in India. So this is the direct tax imposed on digital transactions and business to business transactions. And with respect to digital transactions, there are two types of digital services are taxed under the Equalization Levy. Two types. One is that the digital advertisements. Digital advertisements. For example, YouTube offers a advertising services. So if any company which enjoying that services, you will pay some amount to the YouTube, right? In case of the YouTube means Google, right? So that revenue of the Google is charged at a 6%. Means digital advertisements in India are charged at 6%. So another digital services is called with respect to streaming, right? For example, Netflix, Amazon Prime, such digital services. For example, e-commerce, right? E-commerce, where Amazon is providing a platform for the Indian companies to sell their products, right? So here, so these Indian companies will provide some amount to these Amazon to sell these commodities in the Indian market. Because of this revenue where Indian businesses will pay to the Amazon will be charged at a 2%. In digital advertisements charged at 6% and other e-commerce and streaming digital services charged at 2%. This is called Equalization Levy in India. But being a direct tax, it is introduced in 2016. Equalization Levy introduced in 2016 through Finance Act of 2016. Okay, but why it is not introduced in the Income Tax Act of 1961? So Indian government introduced this Equalization Levy through Finance Act of 2016, where digital advertisement charged at 6%. In 2020, this Equalization Levy introduced with respect to Finance Act of 2020, right? So why being a direct tax, it is a direct tax? Why being a direct tax, it is not introduced through Income Tax Act? Simple reason is, these Google, Amazon being a non-resident companies, these companies will pay the tax in their homeland. For example, Amazon, okay? Amazon earning some revenue in India, and this company is paying income tax in America, right? In America, this company is paying their income tax. If India charges income tax in India also, this will become double taxation, right? So to avoid this double taxation, both India and USA, for that particular matter any country, will sign double taxation avoidance agreement. Okay, according to these agreements, these income of these companies will be charged at one place, either parent country or in the where this company is operating. For example, Amazon's revenue if charged in India at any rate, these companies will again receive tax credit in their home countries. Means their revenues already being taxed in the India. So in America, these companies are not taxed. This tax credit will be given to these companies. Hence, to avoid this double taxation avoid agreement penalties, India introduced the Finance Act 2016 to impose equalization levy. If India introduced this equalization levy through IT Act, USA will definitely complain that so you are violating the double taxation avoidance agreement, because we are already imposing the tax, income tax in our homeland, so you are also imposing income tax, so there will be a violation of double taxation avoidance agreement. So to avoid this, India introduced Finance Act through which the equalization levy was introduced in India. But why it is being abolished now by the finance minister? One is that this equalization levy is being a concern with respect to USA and in India. Trump always vocal about the equalization levy. He said that this equalization levy which is being imposed by India is illegal. Means there is no international law talks about this digital services tax. So this equalization levy violates the international laws. Because of this, Trump wanted to impose a reciprocal tariffs on Indian companies. To avoid this, some of the claim that to avoid this Trump's tariffs, India is withdrawing the equalization levy. But Nirmala Sitharaman clarified that in order to boost the environment and in order to boost the local manufacturing, local business capability, we are abolishing the equalization levy. Nothing but if equalization levy abolished in India, more businesses will thrive in India. If more businesses are thriving in India, more employment creation happen. So in order to make sure that there will be less compliance on the other companies which are operating in India, so make that the ease of doing business happens in India, to ensure that ease of doing business and also there is a less requirement of taxation, India is abolishing these equalization levy in order to make sure there will be a more investment in India. So thank you.